you either have to choose white or black. And I'm saying, there's gray areas.
Where's the gray area?
Well, like with, let's say if kids grew up here and they've been here since they were children, let's say their parents are illegals and they were born on US soil, like they're born here.
Right.
What is she talking about? No kid who was born in America will get deported. Legally, that is. No kid who was legally born in America.
I felt like there was a lot of hatred, and growing up, I was a very moderate Republican, and I think I'm still relatively moderate today, but a little bit, like if there's a line between Republican and Democrat, I was here, and now I'm like a little bit over the line. But what made me switch is there was just a lot of like hateful rhetoric that didn't feel very inclusive. And for me, you know, my first rule about like, treat others the way you want to be treated.
Right.
There was a lot of like anger, and I didn't really like that anger. And so for me, that kind of put me over the edge.
So at the time you were conservatives, are you saying that the conservatives were angry or the liberals were angry?
When I was growing up, I would say the liberals were angry.
That's very true. There was a lot of anger from the Liberal Party. Now I would honestly say conservatives are probably... Well, both sides are pretty angry today. I don't know, but conservatives definitely show a lot of anger online. You could say it's a response to liberals, I guess, or whatever. I'm not getting into why. It just is. But this video is about her happiness for deporting illegal immigrants. I don't know if she's a professor. I think she is. And she is against Donald Trump deporting illegal immigrants. Why? Don't really know. Nonetheless, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let's get into it.
And then I'd say, like, with the rise of Trump, I think that there was a shift where then the Republicans really became angry. And so a lot of that kind of like vitriol and hatred towards others made me feel less comfortable with the direction the party was going in.
And so you switched party because the conservatives were angry?
Mainly because Trump had different views than I felt my views were growing up as a Republican. My views growing up as a Republican, you know, were about family and about love and forgiveness. And I didn't really feel that Trump represented that. And so that's kind of where I...
Do you still feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I am hopeful with a lot of his economic policies. I think he's doing a lot of things that kind of needed to be done, especially like cost cutting.
Yeah.
So I'm very hopeful with this term, his focus on economics. That to me is something that's important. Even if I'm a Democrat, I think that's important.
And when you come back home, when he's done, when you come back home?
If the party kind of it doesn't go more in his direction, I think I would consider becoming a Republican again.
But it's going all the way in his direction.
Yeah, so that's where I'm like, hard pass.
Do you love Trump?
No.
You don't love him?
No.
And why not?
I think that he has a lot of hateful views and a kind of bullying people and a lot of his like social issue stuff I don't feel is inclusive or loving and warm, and that's where I kind of like.
Really? Your boyfriend, is he liberal or conservative?
Liberal.
Oh God, you don't have a chance. And so tell me one thing that's hateful about Donald Trump.
I feel like, you know, he'll like bully, I'm trying to think of like a specific example, but you know, he's bullied people with like speech impediments, or he's made negative comments about like people who were in the military, calling like there was, you know, a military parade where he said like some of them were weak because they're in wheelchairs because they were injured in war, like that kind of stuff.
But to be in a wheelchair and be in the military, you're all weak. You can't be strong, right?
Well, you're in a wheelchair because you sacrificed your legs or your...
The thing about Donald Trump is that Donald Trump never, ever spares feelings, ever. Which is why a lot of people like him. Because they don't see him as a politician. They see him as someone who's going to say it how it is going to do what he wants, no matter what. And because of his demeanor on life, he is going to have enemies. Because what people are used to people who comfort them, who say what they want to hear, who says sweet little nothings in their ear all day and tells them exactly what they want to listen to. Trump, and this is not even if you agree or disagree. If you agree or disagree, you can agree with me right now. He says what he wants to say. Point blank, period. Is what it is. So a lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him. And I don't think he cares. I think he does it on purpose. I think he wants to be himself. He wants to be controversial because I don't know. I don't know why. But yeah, a lot of people will hate him because he doesn't comfort them. That's really what it is.
Ability to defend our country. So for me, that's a very strong person. I wish I was that brave.
Really?
Yeah.
The president, do you like the fact that he shut down the borders?
I think that it's important that people come in legally to our country,
Right.
follow the law. I don't necessarily like how he shut down the border, especially how it's treated families.
What do you mean by that?
Like children who are put into camps and separated from their parents. For me, that's like when I talk about being a Republican growing up, it was all about family values. And I think that's a very cruel way of shutting down the border.
Which is crueler, these people bringing their children over here, or Trump protecting America by shutting them off and sending them back? Which is worse?
I think both are sad.
Well, which is worse?
I don't know. I think if they're bringing their kids over here, it's probably because they're in a really tough situation where they're coming from.
But which is worse, to illegally bring your children into America, or for Trump to send them back?
I don't think it's worse for Trump to send them back, but I think it's worse for him to separate kids from their moms and send them back without family. That to me is worse.
But if the family sends them over here without parents, should he send them back without parents?
Oh, if they're sent over without parents, then
okay.
He's not separating. For me, it's the separating of families that I find really.
Obama started doing that, right?
I don't know enough about
Remember
that.
Obama?
Yeah, I know about, but I don't know his policy.
Oh,
but if he was doing that, I would say that that's also bad.
So because of time, so you're happy with the way he shut down the border? Are you happy he's sending the illegal aliens back?
I think that if you're entering our country, you should probably do it legally. So I think it's okay for him to send them back. I think it becomes tough when they have, they move here and their families are here and they've grown up here. And then if they've been here for 10 years, or for some of them, they don't even speak their language at home, I think we have to find a way to make that work, because that's really tough if you're... I don't know what I would do if I was sent to let's say I was sent back to China and I don't speak Chinese, I'd be like, I don't know what to do here.
But if you were sent back home to China, it'd be a different story, because they're sending you home. And so Trump is sending these people back. It doesn't even matter if they've been here 100 years, but they came here illegally. They still should be sent back home, right?
I think we have to look into that, because, if they've been here for 10 years, they're probably part of our economy. They're culturally part of our country. I think it'd be really difficult to just send those people back.
But they still broke the law. Why would it be difficult?
What?
They still broke the law to get here. They're illegal people. Why should it be difficult to send them back?
Because they've now, it's not just like a law of like black or white. It's also like, how do we treat people? And sending them back, they might not have family in their home country.
And here's what I've been saying for the longest time, bro. I always knew that somebody was going to deport illegal immigrants. I didn't know if it was going to be Trump. I didn't know. But it's just common sense. It wasn't going to last forever. And even if you are an advocate for people who are in America illegally, the fact still remains that they're here illegally and they shouldn't be in America. Point blank, period. I get it. You think this is a civics class or humanities class, but at the end of the day, if you're in America illegally, you deserve to get deported because you're in America illegally. It's really that simple. And I'm tired of pretending like it's not that simple. That's all that's happening here. And I get it. People are upset about it because people are going to be upset. But it's just the law. I'm sorry. It is what it is. If we really want to change this issue on a massive scale, rather than saying, let's keep illegal immigrants in the United States, because at the end of the day, that answer is just not a long-term answer. It's going to be a Republican or some president who's for illegal immigrants staying here. It's going to be another president who's against illegal immigrants staying here. And we're just going to go back and forth, back and forth. One president is going to let them stay, Biden, and one is going to deport them, Trump. That cycle is going to continue forever. What we need to do is say, if you're an advocate for illegal immigration, make it so that illegal immigrants have an easier path to citizenship. Make it so that becoming a United States citizen isn't so hard to do. It doesn't take so much paperwork. That's what you should be fighting for. You need to be in Congress somewhere advocating or lobbying your congressional representative or something. That's what you need to be doing. But having like trying to say Trump is evil for doing this with ICE, I'm like, bruh, it's illegal immigration. He's deporting illegal immigrants. If you're a legal immigrant, you're probably going to get deported eventually because you're an illegal immigrant. I don't really know what else to say about that. We need to be trying to change the laws behind it. But let me know what y'all think, because a lot of people are for it, a lot of people are against it. I don't even look at it from that perspective. I don't look at it for being for or against it. I look at it from a legislative point of view. It's illegal, so it's just going to happen eventually.
They might not know anyone there. They might not speak the language
But
anymore.
they're still going home.
But my book is about belonging. Like, what does
Right.
make home? If you don't have any family, if you don't speak the language, like a place isn't really home anymore.
If a squatter were to move into your house, they were there for 6 months. You finally come home and a squatter's in your home.
Yeah.
Would you say, you know what, you've been here for 6 months, you're real comfortable, you could stay?
I
Or
think
would you want them thrown out?
that would be an oversimplification of the border issue, in my
Why is
opinion.
that?
Because it's 6 months and they're living in your home. That's different.
How's that different? The illegals was in our home for 6 months, our country. What's the difference?
6 months, yeah. Then they should probably be sent back.
How about
It's when
6 years? Let's say the squatter stayed in your house, you over in China for 6 years. You come back to America, and there's some squatters are living in your home, and they're like all comfortable, they're parking in the garage, they're working, they have little children. Would you throw the squatters out?
I think that that's an oversimplification of our border policy.
How's
in
it
that
different?
case. Because they're at my private property. That's different than, having them come to the country and like work in our economy. Like, it's a different relationship between a government and the people in it than having them in your private property.
But our country is our private property. It belongs to America.
I think that's a simplification.
What do you
I don't
mean?
know if
Is it right or wrong? Either it's right or it's wrong.
It's not everything's black and white.
Like what?
Like, what do you mean? Like, not everything's black and white.
Like,
in this
what
case,
is-
I don't think it's as black and white. I think you are saying you either have to choose white or black. And I'm saying,
Right.
there's gray areas.
Where's the gray area?
Well, like let's say if kids grew up here and they've been here since they were children, let's say their parents are illegals and they were born on U.S. soil, like they're born here.
Right.
What is she talking about? No kid who was born in America will get deported. Legally, that is. No kid who was legally born in America will get deported. A fun fact, the reason I know this is because Donald Trump actually he actually disagrees with that. He said birthright citizenship was only for black people. He said that, and they got offended by that. But if you're born in America, you are a citizen. I think he's actually trying to change that and make it only for black people. Don't know. But that still doesn't negate the fact. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And this is not even from an ethics point of view, because I'm not looking at this from an ethics point of view. I'm looking at this from a legal standpoint, because what she's trying to do is turn this into you need to have some sympathy, some empathy. You can still have empathy for someone and be like, that's still wrong. Like, illegal immigration is wrong. Even putting your kid in that position is wrong. It's not right. And a lot of the illegal immigrants have been in America for 10, 15, 20 years. You're telling me in the past 15 years, you didn't know that you were here illegally? You didn't know that you had to apply for citizenship? Really? Like, it's just not believable to me. It doesn't make any sense. If you're a kid and you came here and you just didn't even know you were an illegal immigrant, which I still find hard to believe, that's another thing. If you came here when you were 1 year old or something and you just genuinely didn't know, which I still find hard to believe, because at that point, if you're an adult, you would have like a passport, you would have to get an ID, whatever. That's a different discussion. But if you're an adult and you came here and you just been here and you knew you were illegal and you never even tried to get papers, come on, bro. Like, let's be honest. That's not like you knew you were taking advantage of the system to some extent. You did, right?
Grew up here.
Right, but they go back with their parents.
If their parents are being deported, but if they're, they might have the choice to stay here. If they grew up here and now they're an adult, or they're 16 and they don't even speak their home country language, it's not really their home anymore, the other country. If they were born on U.S. soil, this is their home.
One other quick thing that you disagree with the Great White Hope about. Did you know I call him the Great White Hope?
Who is that? I don't know that phrase.
You don't know who the Great White Hope is?
No.
Donald
Is
Trump.
this Moby Dick? Is this the whale at the end? Are we trying to catch the whale?
Donald Trump.
Okay.
Do you agree he is the Great White Hope?
I think I disagree with that. I don't know what that means, but I don't think I'm going to agree with it for what I said.
So let me ask. He's doing an amazing job, right?
No.
He's white.
That I can agree with you on. Yes,
and
I
he's
can
great.
agree. Not for me.
Is it great to make America great again?
I think that is a very vague statement.
What do you mean?
I mean, it's like a tagline. It's like a tagline's supposed to make you believe in something, but it doesn't. That specific tagline has things in it that I don't agree with.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you support abortion?
No. Or yes, I'm pro-choice. Excuse me.
So you're in support of a woman killing a man's child in the womb?
I am not in a support of killing babies, but I'm in the support of killing things that aren't babies yet.
If a woman gets pregnant, what part of that is not the baby?
Because
it's not a baby.
It's not fully formed yet.
But it's still a baby, right?
I don't think so.
When you're a little child, you're first born, right?
Yeah,
and you're growing
that's
up.
older.
Are you a child, or are you an adult or a child?
That's a child or baby, but that's not what's in the womb.
It's still a baby.
I'm against killing a baby that came out of the womb. That's murder.
Right. But why are you against killing a baby in the womb?
Because I'm not sure it's a baby yet.
But it is a baby.
That's what you believe. That's not what I believe.
What do you think it is?
I think up until it's has a brain and has functions, it's not yet a baby, and so I don't think it's something that we need to protect. And if anything, I think we should protect the mother and father who maybe they're financially not ready to have that child. Maybe they can't support it. Maybe when it becomes a baby, they can't actually give it a good life. And so for those reasons, I don't think as long as it's still not a baby, I don't think it should be born. Really? Yeah.
Would you have wanted your parents to kill you when you first conceived?
If I was a baby, I wouldn't.
They're talking about this abortion debate, bro. Here we go again, bro. I never actually see an answer to this debate every time I hear it. But let me know what you guys think about this video. My name is LFR Jojo, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.